Right now, though, we're going to get to the view of former England midfielder Danny Murphy, who joins us now. Danny, good morning. How you doing?
Hi, Danny.
Morning. Bit deflated. It feels a little bit flat, doesn't it, after that? But so much to be proud of, actually. It was a terrific performance in many ways.
Yeah, me and Natalie are echoing what you've just said, Danny. And also, I mean, we've had a number of callers about the Kane role in the team and does he play too deep? Do you think that's fair? Because obviously Gareth has a way of playing and where they've got to in this tournament, I think it's a little bit unfair.
I actually thought it was his best game. I think he looked great. I mean, he's always had that balance of dropping deep and staying high, and then we have the debate after in certain games, does he come too deep? But I think if you look at the game as a whole, his contribution was excellent, and we had enough chances, didn't we? It wasn't like we were struggling to create. I mean, in the second half especially, I thought the combos were good. I thought we looked fit, we looked strong. The penalties, obviously, it can happen to anyone, can't it? You know, we can dissect that in a bit, but no, I thought he balanced it well last night. I actually thought he linked the play well. He was in the box when he needed to be. I didn't think we lacked creativity because of his role at all.
But let's go to the very start then. Team news is announced. He's stuck as an unchanged side that Gareth Southgate has gone with. People have been crying out for him to not change and not revert to that five at the back. So we got what we wanted. And as has been the way for many games for England, they started a bit slow. It always seems to take time to get into matches for England. Is that often, would you say that's been one of their biggest problems, that they haven't gone at teams from the very off?
I don't think it's a huge problem. I think it's been in the early stages. It was a little bit, why aren't we going after them? But we got through comfortably, and we grew into the game, so it didn't affect the end results. In the bigger games, yeah, of course, when they started the game against France yesterday, and they started a bit more on the front foot, it was a concern. But the goal really came out of nothing. It was It's a long-range effort that we didn't expect from Tchouaméni because he's not renowned for scoring. So, although it wasn't a perfect start, I thought we gained composure really well after the goal. I thought we controlled things, showed a maturity in our play. I think against the best teams, yeah, you can get punished if you don't start well, but it wasn't that bad yesterday that we were on the back foot because of it. I thought overall the way we handled the game and composed ourselves after going a goal down was really good.
And Danny, I think the biggest disappointment for England fans is that France didn't particularly play too well, which is, tactics of England, which obviously worked to stop them, even though they got 2 goals, that clearly England played a French team that weren't on top of their game and still lost.
Yeah, well, as well as anyone, Cass, the quality in the final third is what makes the best teams different sometimes. That cross from Griezmann was one of the best crosses we'll see in the tournament. And when you've got a striker in there like Giroud, who's constantly getting on the undercut. I mean, we'd had a warning a minute or two before, hadn't we, where Pickford made the save, I think, from his volley, or it was a few minutes before anyway. And we didn't learn from it. Yeah, the French team wasn't as good as maybe 4 years ago in terms of some of the players they're missing, but they still have that threat. And actually, if you look at the 2 players most people were talking about, which was their wide boys who were so dynamic, I thought we handled them really well. I mean, it's the quietest game Mbappe's had. I thought we helped Kyle Walker out brilliantly with the midfield lads doubling up and getting over there and giving him no space. I think we're always gonna find things when we don't go through that maybe we could have done better. Is this team progressing? Is it better than the Euro team? Is it more confident? I think so. Is it better than 4 years ago? Definitely. Is there hope for the future? Yes. I mean, I mean, it might be a little bit over the top. I mean, I was at the game, so I feel a little bit maybe different than others watching it in a more neutral position. But I actually thought it was probably our all-round best performance in the last 3 tournaments. I don't remember a game where we've played such quality opposition, where we've controlled it for so long and looked so threatening. Because second half, I felt like we were the only team in it.
I totally agree with you. I thought England were the better side overall, but unfortunately it's the goals that went against England and 2 goals from France. Let's talk about the penalty. The first penalty, great. Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does and put it in the back of the net. What do you think went wrong with the second? A lot of people are maybe over-analysing it, but some suggesting, well, look, should you have asked him to take another penalty when, again, he's coming up against his Spurs teammate? There's the pressure of knowing what that penalty could lead to. There's also the pressure of, if he scores this, he becomes England's all-time leading goal scorer.
Let's give it some perspective. Can you imagine if somebody else took the penalty and missed?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just scored an emphatic first penalty. I was actually talking to Gary Lineker 10 minutes ago about this, because he just scored. He took 2 against Cameroon, and he was saying that David Platt said to him, with the second one, you're all right with it, and he laughed at him and said, yeah, damn right I am, because the chance to score. Yeah. And Harry Kane's of that mentality. I think what happened, the only thing I compare it to, not with the same pressure, I took 2 in one game against Tottenham in a cup game, and I went the same way twice. I've got no problem with him going the same way. That's just a decision you make. But I think he saw him maybe in the corner of his eye going that way and tried to hit it even harder. And I think the harder you try and hit it sometimes, they can balloon up. But it's hard to be critical with someone missing a pen, because if he'd rolled it down the middle cleverly, we'd all be saying he's a hero. But if the keeper stays in the middle and catches it, you look. It's. Yeah. I don't think anybody who's played the game would say that someone else should have took that. Look, nobody's going to be more upset than him. I don't think he's probably slept a wink last night. He's probably replayed it a million times, the poor lad. And I've never felt so much. I saw him capitulate on the pitch at the end. Pickford did great, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Went up to him and he actually wrestled the cameraman away from him as well. He was trying to. I thought that was great. But you can't. His contribution to England's been phenomenal. I hope he doesn't just get remembered for that miss. I know that sounds bizarre when he's just equaled the top goal scorer in our history, but you know how people tend to remember the bad.